Hi, welcome to Shape Language. I'm your host, Alvin Lee, and with me I have two amazing artists. I have senior concept artist on ARCANE, Victor Maury, and of course we have Moby Francke, art director of Theorycraft. And together we have a ton of art experience, so let's react to some art. Okay. First piece. Victor, you want to introduce this one since it's your piece?
Sure, yeah, this is the Warwick splash. It's got to be a couple of years old now. Maybe, one of my better splashes, maybe my favorite.
One of your better splashes?
There's a couple good ones.
This one's awesome. Well, I mean, personally, this is just my take on this piece. This is the one where it's like, boom, here I am. Here's Victor Maury. I think two things that a genius moves that needs to be noted is the usage of the lighting convention. Like having the light hit the paw, but then having his face in the shadow.
Yeah.
And then the rim light in the back for the
rim light in the back, and then the subsurface scattering on the ear.
On the ear, yeah.
So here's the next one.
Silas.
Yeah, this one. Silas. I love this one. This was a good one.
It's funny, I feel like there's not that much going on in this one, so maybe it speaks to like the power of a good portrait, if you can really nail the expression.
I love like the warm light on the outside, like being like, I guess Demacia or whatever, but then the cool light with hitting on him, like it really makes him a lot, like, gives him that feeling of that anti-hero. Right?
Yeah, I love that I gave him huge hands and no one gave me any shit about it. But it makes him feel kind of like a fighting game character.
Totally.
I feel like it fits for him, you know what I mean?
Absolutely it fits. All right, next one. Yes. This one's so good. I think that the beauty of this one is like all the little treasure troves throughout the piece.
Yeah. I hit a lot of little details. If you go on ArtStation, I break down all the little Easter eggs.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I just love the tilt of the slight
touch angle.
I nudged it. I don't know if you remember, I nudged it so many times. I was like, what's the perfect angle? Like, do I want it to be dead on? Do I want it to be like a little off kilter to show that he's crazy? Like, I thought about that way too much.
The thing I actually really like about this is like there's no extreme foreshortening. It's just like it's like confrontational.
Yeah.
In your face.
I think that's when I'm in my element. Is like I love clear staging, and I think the problem with crazy foreshortening is sometimes it's hard to make out the shapes of the design, and so I feel more comfortable when I can zoom out a little bit and just show you what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fun little fact is all the splash artists at the time in that scroll.
The names, on his hit list.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
And what's the story behind the teacup there?
So the teacup is what Pan would call emotional contrast. It's like you've got this super gritty image. It's almost overwhelmingly gritty, and it's almost like too edgy. And having this really delicate teacup provides this first of all, it makes him look even more dangerous because it's so dainty in comparison to him. But it also brings this little unexpected, beautiful element in an overall really grimy and sort of intense scene.
That's freaking awesome. I love that. All right, shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Dude, that was awesome, dude. All right, boom.
Oh, ARCANE.
I mean, we're not gonna dive too far into this, but obviously, congratulations on the release of ARCANE. Unfortunately, we can't go too deep into ARCANE at the moment because of non-disclosure agreements. How does it feel now that it's out?
It's crazy. I mean, I just want to say first and foremost, it's such an immense undertaking, and so many extremely talented people work on it, whether it's music, voice actors, modelers, texture artists, you name it, everybody just brought 110%. And so I just feel extremely blessed to just have gotten to be a part of it at all.
Okay, next piece. Okay, so this is Jeff Koons. This is called, I think just called The Rabbit or A Rabbit, something like that. This is the most expensive piece ever sold by a living artist at an auction. This piece.
Ever,
$93 million.
Totally worth it.
I know, but in terms of what Jeff's interpretation of it is that, it's like a play on innocence. Jeff definitely has a lot of critics that call his work unimaginative and unoriginal and like you know.
Well, it's kind of about expectation setting,
Yeah.
right? Like if something comes out and you have no expectations and it's really good and people have poured a lot of effort into it, you're like, this is really great.
But I will say though, his other pieces like this.
Yeah.
They're huge, they're shiny, and they look like the material that they're.
Yeah, they actually
supposed to
look like a
represent.
giant balloon, yeah, but it's
Right.
made of steel. That's the juxtaposition of like, you know, something that's hard surface that is actually soft, but it's not actually soft, it's hard surface.
The illusion of it
The
all.
illusion, yeah. I think that's
It's
what
the
makes
best
it
page
so
magician of all
intriguing, right?
time.
Like all of his balloon animals, they're massive. They're like a couple stories high or something. All right, let's go to the next one then.
Ah,
Oh boy.
Can you guys guess what the name of this piece is?
pile of Play-Doh.
Be close. It's just called simply Play-Doh.
I was halfway there.
Yeah. Is that made out of steel or is it actually?
It is
Play-Doh?
actually.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, this is also made of steel. Like everything is made of aluminum.
So okay, so this is weird. See, now I feel lied to. Because the balloon, it's like, look, this is supposed to be a balloon, but it's made of steel. And you're like, wow, it's crazy. But this one, you said it's simply Play-Doh. So which is it? You know what I mean? Like you're trying to trick me?
Yeah, I think that's the point. Is to make it feel like it's something.
Well, I
that's-
feel like a fool right now.
Anyways, all right, moving on. Next piece, shall
Yeah.
Ah. Now we're talking.
we? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
This one is actually the most expensive piece ever auctioned.
Leonardo.
This is Salvator Mundi by Leonardo Da Vinci.
Yeah.
And this auctioned off maybe like 2018, I think,
Yeah.
for $450 million.
Seems a
buy
little
that.
low for the
I was
savior
gonna
of the
say,
world.
yeah, I would. Yeah.
That's only like 3 balloon animals. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's just-
But this one was like a lost piece that they had previously thought was gone forever. Or they didn't even know that if it actually existed. Well, basically, like how they knew that this piece existed was that there were so many sketches of this piece by students and like mentors or mentees of
They were doing
Leonardo.
studies of it.
Yeah, doing studies of it. They're like,
you
what
gotta
is
find the
this
source.
piece? Like, yeah, but it never was uncovered until recently. What happened was, this is what the piece looked like when it came in.
It looks tired.
This was like painted over. This was like a more recent restoration, but like people called it grotesque. Like it wasn't a good restoration. And then after it was cleaned.
Wait, this looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
so this is what it looked like after it was professionally cleaned, and then they had it like restored to this basically.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, and this was restored by Diane Modestini.
Well done, Diane.
I think she spent 5 years restoring this painting. She was saying that a lot of people were questioning the authenticity of this piece. The reason why she was like undoubtedly like this is Leonardo's hand was the value range.
Yeah.
She was saying that the value range of like the ambient occlusion under his neck.
That's my favorite part. That lost edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's saying that edge is so lost
Yeah.
that you can only see it if you squint your eyes
Yeah.
and walk far away.
I
That
believe
she was like, only a master could do that. That kind of leads into our next topic actually, which is our teaching moment.
Oh.
Teaching moment.
Dun dun dun.
When I see like somebody doing like clamped values or limited value range, it looks so good. Why does that separate from like a really good artist to a great artist? You know?
I think the short answer on that is like when you clamp values, you're basically organizing your shapes and your value patterns intentionally.
Yeah.
I think personally a very easy trick is just like to color pick your value range and just stay within that. Like, here's your darkest dark, exactly. Here's your darkest dark, here's your lightest light, and just never veer out of that range, you know?
It allows you to save things for a special moment.
Yeah.
So for example, if you use the full value range on everything, nothing is special, right?
Right.
I'm gonna use a
Exactly.
food analogy here, but if you save the cherry, right? The cherry on top, in order to have a special cherry on top of your cake, you can't cover the cake in cherries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you guys, that was awesome. Hopefully you guys got some good stuff out of that, and let's move on.
Oh
God.
man,
Please.
iconic.
So yeah, we're just gonna have a little bit of fun. What do you guys think of this restoration?
Man, this I love this because this gave the whole world a good laugh. And you know what? I feel like we need that.
I like the ad of the scroll at the
At
bottom.
the bottom. That's her. That's all her.
Yeah. So she's like improvising.
And now it's actually a tourist attraction. It just ends up being like, actually good for this little small town.
That's
and
a feel
okay,
good
that's a
moment
good
right
feel.
there.
Yeah. Have you guys seen this one?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's the same.
Same process?
The left is a statue.
Yeah, a statue. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the right is the restoration. Some have called the restoration Tintin.
Oh, yep, there it is.
There's just something to be said about, especially sculpture. Wasn't it the Greeks and even Roman sculptures were painted at one point? We don't paint them anymore. We leave them alone.
Yeah. Here's a.
Oh.
Okay, so the one on the left, that's what it looked like originally, and then the restoration. But then all the way to the right is the most recent.
So they tried to bring it back.
Full circle.
Yeah, they tried to bring it full circle and restore it a little
not
bit.
bad.
You know what I mean?
That's actually not so bad.
Anyways, next one. This is the last one in this
okay.
series. This is called the Immaculate Conception.
Nice.
And this is by Bartolome Murillo. And, apparently a really priceless piece. And this is the restoration of...
Oh no. Wait.
Oh no. Oh god.
Oh no! Basically, this guy had this priceless piece, the Immaculate Conception, asked somebody to restore it, and obviously this guy was an amateur. And the first one on the top right was the one that he showed him, and he was like, "What the hell did you do to my piece?" And after being upset, he did a second.
He's like,
try.
I'm not done yet. I haven't put in the lighting.
So the second one on the bottom is his second attempt.
Were they able to bring it back from the dead?
I don't think so, not this one.
No?
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, this one
I
is...
felt this one.
We're just having a little fun. Speaking of portraiture, here's our next artist, by the way. You guys ready?
Yes. Refresh me.
Boom!
Yes,
Oh.
Jens Claessens.
Okay, obviously this is a portrait of Chadwick Boseman.
Rest in peace.
This man is an expert at portraiture.
This man draws.
This man definitely knows what he's doing, and this is obviously not a fluke. Like, all of his portraits are freaking amazing. If you've ever seen his Instagram.
But I love how playful he is in sort of building it up. Like, he'll draw stuff, then he'll knock it back, then he'll bring out selective elements, then again he'll put a multiply layer on it. And there's this play of back and forth with the values, and then eventually, a couple last strokes, throws the color on there, and boom, beautiful. Oh, you know what else is cool that he does? Is he has that grain that you
Film
have
grain,
on top
yes.
of the thing. He has that on top on a separate layer, and he paints underneath it.
Oh.
And what that does is it gives you this unifying element, kind of like the texture of a canvas. That you don't always have in digital because it's so smooth and it's so
I like how he paints underneath it.
Yeah, because then you don't noodle as much because you're sort of
Yeah. It's like you're squinting
shapes.
all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, that's so smart. Like,
That is really
little
smart.
little stuff like that. It's really interesting.
He does it time and time again too. It's like, it's definitely like a style of his, but it's like he leaves all his brushstrokes very raw,
Yeah.
So satisfying.
This one, it's not actually a portrait. I think this might be actually out of just imagination, which is
Really?
Yeah, because
after you've done that many portraits, you got to know a thing or two about the human
Right.
soul, right?
But I mean, if this is imagination, that's freaking nuts. But he does this a lot in terms of
He draws every day.
drawing from imagination. So it's definitely not a fluke, right?
No.
It's this is just a guy who's just really, really prolific. He's just constantly working at his craft, Yeah, you can. It shows in his sketches, right?
This is actually one thing that my coworker Josh Smith is kind of getting me back into. Is I'm getting back into penning, getting back into brush pens, getting back to blue pencil character sketches. That's my exercise for the next couple of months.
I think he did some concept art for Borderlands, I think.
Cool.
Nice.
Something like that. Anyways.
I'd be curious to see what his concept art looks like.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what it
sure,
looks
right,
like. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, it's clear that he's done his homework. Just showing you guys his versatility as not just portraits or studies. And here's
these types of pages.
Wow. Here's more of his studies, but with values. But I love his range, just like playful to like very more serious, and like all the different types of faces you see here.
But it's so solid, like all of it just feels so solid.
Yeah. All right, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I don't know this artist's name, but I love their work.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen his work before. His name is Guweiz, and he's from Singapore, but he's also really young, which is what makes it so
extra spicy,
extra painful, I guess. From an artist's perspective, for me, it hurts. So I think at the time of this painting, he might have been like 20, 21, 22.
My God.
What I love about their work, though, is like, more often than not, you get this incredible temperature control where you'll have something like this that's like all cool with that warm pop in the focal point, and it's just so satisfying.
Yeah, very
And
much
this
so.
is like the temperature equivalent of like value grouping. This is temperature grouping. He saved the cherry for exactly where it wants you to go.
Yeah.
And it just works. It really does.
Yeah. Let's move on to his next one.
Yeah, there it is again.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. Like, you can't blame it.
And it's like diffused lighting, which is even harder.
Yeah, he loves the diffused ambient light,
That is not easy to pull off.
No. Yeah, you're gonna notice a lot of his work is very much like ambient lit. And even when it's like outdoors, he'll make it like overcast, you know what I mean?
I think that makes sense, because when you think about like these focal points with the earrings, for that to feel really bright and light, it helps to have the rest of the piece be really matte. It just keeps working.
I'm starting to think that he actually paints like hats purposely to get that ambient light in the face and to get the light glowing in the ear, you know what I mean?
It's all about those earrings, man.
Yeah, it feels like, that's his thing, and he's gonna go out of his way just to make it work, and another, like, one of his, like, clearly, like, he's very inspired by Ilya Kubchinov, I think his name.
Oh,
Ilya,
sure, like in the face.
Kubchinov, like, just like his
very appealing faces,
yeah, just like his overall like approach, I think. Like like if you look at this, like the kind of like these like story moments that Ilya does, but he's doing it in his own way. Like, it's a lot more realistic, I think.
All right, one critique, 1 point. The leg overlapping. This part, there is just a clean black line.
For the occlusion.
He could have just blurred
that might be the screen though. I don't know if
No, that's there.
Okay.
Like I noticed that too. Like that's
where my eye
occlusion
goes.
is like it's way too sharp.
If I was a teacher and this student who's obviously going to get an A for this piece, I would just mention that you can, you don't have to spell it all out. You can.
That's an easy fix too. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
One of the things I like about this piece, because it's something I do a lot, is like populating the background with like small details. The grate, he drew like a little body on it, so it looks like a little dude. And that type of humor, I love that. Do you see that?
Oh yeah. Holy shit, I didn't even
I
notice
love
that.
little stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I have a lot of fun looking for those secondary, tertiary reads.
Oh, I mean, overall though, like his understanding of lighting, especially like ambient lighting, is very evident with this one.
It's very appealing. I feel like this is very globally appealing.
Sure.
But it's not as like pin-up-y as some of these types of images can get. It also just kind of has an attitude, like there's a little bit of street to it. It's a nice mix of flavors that I feel like is really palatable.
I love his work. Anyways.
Love it too.
All right, and that pretty much concludes our session. Please hit the like button. It would help us out with the algorithms. Obviously, we're still starting out, and it would really be great if you shared this with your friends, let them know, and hit that subscribe button. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one.